Think. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Anup Zombie podcast. And yeah, so this is basically continuing with our Liberty series and our free market series, where we are just trying to figure out what is the best way to do business in an environment where it is getting globally competitive as well, it's getting locally competitive as well. And what are some of the governance challenges that we are facing that we can probably shed more light on, as well as we can also see if there are any possible solutions, ways that we can actually do these things in a better way. What would be our ideal wish list for an entrepreneur in India, a young entrepreneur just sitting there wide-eyed with a great idea and trying to execute it, and especially in tier three cities and things like that. So you may have an idea based on experiences of any kind of surroundings that you actually have. So what we're going to do is, and today we've got a very special guest, Murtaza Amin. Hello, Murtaza. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me, and I appreciate you. Setting this up, setting the table.
Great. I think we have to appreciate Tushar, Tushar up for that, but I don't think he's here today. But I think we'll have a great conversation on things. So yeah. So Murtaza, for those of you who aren't aware, your ex handle is at Murtuzi, right?
Yes,
Is that
Murtuzi,
Murtuzi?
Murtuzi.
Murtuzi. So if you have had the chance of falling over a couple of his tweets in the recent past, you will find that that he has been raising his voice in terms of some of the things that shouldn't happen to a small and medium business in India, and we are just trying to figure out why are these things happening, and maybe there are some great solutions that we can come up with as well in the podcast, right, Murtaza? So we'll just focus on that. Murtaza, if you could also like sort of give everyone a brief as to who you are and a bit of your journey as an entrepreneur, and take it away, please.
Sure, thank you. I'm gonna keep it short. So I studied in Burhanpur, Madhya Pradesh all my life. I got an opportunity to go to Bombay, Jalgaon for my engineering for 2 years. I dropped out. I decided that I wanted to build something on the internet. 2011 internet was coming up. I knew internet had potential, um, and I joined an organization called Head Start. Head Start runs these things called Startup Saturday in different cities across India every month. They still do it. I got the opportunity to attend one of the Head Start sessions, and then I joined a smaller firm called Only Gizmos as an intern, and that is where I learned the tricks of the trade. I spent about 18 months there, and since I was very inclined towards entrepreneurship and I had read about entrepreneurship a lot. Whatever tricks of the trades I learned there, I applied to a small company called MBA Ka Kida, which fortunately I was able to sell it for a small amount of money, which I utilized as a base capital to build Biz Prospects. So in 2013, I started Biz Prospects in Bombay as a bootstrapped single founder company. God has been very kind to me. The company was successful from day one. I made enough money to be able to survive and grow the business for the next 3 years. And once I had enough money to move back to my town, and internet was coming up, internet was picking up, I decided that I wanted to go back to my native and provide employment to people in Burhanpur. After coming, I was in the US for 8 months to try and see how the US is and how to grow the business there and all that. After returning from the US, I decided that I wanted to set up shop in Burhanpur. And since Geo was I don't know if you remember, but Geo in 2016 started piloting, and one of the cities that they decided to pilot was in Burhanpur. So we had good high speed internet, and there was nothing stopping me from setting up shop here. So 2016 I moved back to my town, started this company. Internet was decent enough, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And today we are the largest white collar employer in Madhya Pradesh, Burhanpur. We have about 85 people full time here between the two offices we have. And this whole thing started because we built this new office, and we were finding a lot of troubles dealing with government agencies to get even basic necessities fulfilled, like electricity, for example. And that is why I tweeted what I tweeted, and then this blew up. Hundreds of people started writing to me saying that they are facing the same challenges. So in this podcast, and thank you for inviting me to this, I wanted to talk about with you, like a conversation about the challenges that a small business is facing, and how do we solve this, GST PF के जो issues होते हैं,
Right.
trouble with trouble with as a small business owner or as a first time entrepreneur, it is impossible to understand all the laws that are applying to your business. There are so many laws, and there are so many contradictory laws. One thing would say something and the other might say something else.
Especially depending on, and it's different for the type of business as well, right? Like you're doing some niche business, it's very hard to identify where the lines are, in these laws as well. Yeah.
So this is why I wanted to speak to you regarding how do we solve for these challenges. How does the government solve for these challenges, and is there a way to make it easier for small businesses to really grow and become, I mean, if you have to compete with China, we have to help our small businesses survive and grow. So yeah, please, yeah,
Yeah, so a quick intervention here. I mean, Tushar
Tushar.
has become a monk, I think, and he's joined us somewhere from some mountain. Where are you, Tushar? I'm sorry, man, we
Yeah,
can't
I'm
hear
in
you.
Shell and it's raining. So,
What? You joined the military or something? What happened? Like, got yourself a.
no, no. So, thank you, Murtaza. Thank you for coming in and addressing our audience.
No,
I
thank you
was
for inviting me. Hopefully,
looking
we'll be
forward
able
to
to.
looking forward to listening your stories.
Thank you.
Real life stories. This is not fiction. Right, excellent.
And I we interacted on chat a bit, and I was telling him that our community is basically filled up with entrepreneurs who are frustrated with the government. So this is your community as well.
Quite a few notable entrepreneurs that I personally know through my network also wrote to me personally saying that we cannot put this on our timeline or we cannot tweet this, but we are facing the same challenges as you. So yeah, I mean, there are many people who are facing these small hurdles in trying to grow their business. If you
Right.
talk about fighting with China, we have to solve these hurdles, Anup ji, I
No, right.
believe.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The thing is, you have mentioned like your business was kind of a wild ride, is how you have sort of mentioned it in your tweets as well, right? So I just wanted to understand, like, okay, right from the start, you were an entrepreneur. You wanted to start something back in your hometown, which is a tier three city. And what were your motivations behind that? You kind of had a calling to go back home and raise, like do something there. What was going on?
See, Anupji, I'll be extremely honest and straightforward, and this I have put this on my tweet also, that the reason for me to run this company in Burhanpur is not to maximize my profits. It is to give back to the society that I was born in. I wanted to provide local employment. That was the idea and thought behind starting this company here. If I wanted to make money, I would have gotten a better job in Dubai. If I wanted to make money, I would have ran my company in Bombay. The idea, and God, I mean, thank God that, I mean, I have saved enough money to survive at least for the next one generation, my generation and my kids' generation. It's not about money that I am running this company.
Right.
It is also about the impact on the society. Because of us, there are 300 white collar KPO jobs in Burhanpur today, which is a decent number. 8 years ago, there was zero.
Right.
And since we only target international customers, in a way we are helping our country get what they need the most, which is money.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, so you didn't you well, let's just put it this way. You went over the hurdles of hiring quality people that you would need, right, for the type of clientele that you would probably have and expect. So you would have needed some form of talent that is there, and you were able to source it from the tier 3 city, which is one big hurdle that is that I feel you have gone through. But then I am pretty sure like most of your hurdles probably revolved around the challenges of compliance and how to actually, so what happened then after you were you from the start itself, were you faced with these difficulties, or did it happen the moment you made some money, or what was the turning point in all of this for you?
So hiring was never a challenge to us because we would hire qualified people who did not wanted to leave Burhanpur. Before 2016, people had to leave Burhanpur because there were no white collar jobs here, not enough white collar jobs, I would say.
Right.
And once people realized that this company is helping them get a job, people started applying, and the word spread around quickly. And most people don't want to go and live in Bombay, especially for people who have not been born and brought up here.
Right.
Bombay has its own challenges. Even if you're making 60,000 rupees in Bombay and if you're making 30,000 rupees in Burhanpur, you're making the same amount of money because of the cost
Right.
of living and rent and everything. So once people started noticing that this company is doing good job and they were providing employment, hiring for us was never a challenge because we would always get more resumes than we wanted to hire people. So
Oh,
that was
okay.
never a
So,
challenge.
right.
A
Okay.
lot of people from surrounding villages also started coming here. We have people from a village called Doipodi. I don't know if you might
Okay.
have never heard of Doipodi.
Never
जो
mind.
छोटे छोटे गांव है इंडिया के,
Uh,
people are happy to travel 20 kilometers by bike to get a job in Burhanpur. Or we have a lady Vasudha. She travels from a village which is like 35 kilometers from here. She takes a bus. She's an excellent woman. She has been with us for a couple of years. She does a great job. So these sort of people who had no opportunity to get a job now suddenly had an opportunity to run their families. One thing that I noticed, and I believe I should add this to this podcast, which will add value to our listeners, is after COVID a lot of people started reverse migrating. What was happening before COVID was people wanted to go to bigger cities and work. But after COVID, their parents started asking children that whatever you want to do it here. Or a lot of times what happened is, for example, in a family of four, one daughter died because of COVID. So the father asked the son that you come back live with us. Or for example, the father expired, so the mother was alone, so the child had to come back to take care of the mother. So these sort of stories, we have at least 7 or 8 reverse migration stories in our office that we have seen in the last 4 years, that people don't want to live in Bombay because they had no opportunity. They had to go to Bombay, Indore, Bhopal, bigger
yeah, and
cities.
even the dialects of the language, the culture of the people, most will want an environment where they are, like I was also quite sad leaving my town, like because we had everything. We had a beach. You roll out of bed, like 5 kilometers down, there'll be a beach. There's a mountain here. There are rivers here. Why would you leave that and come here to one of these cities? There was nothing because there were no jobs there. There were no jobs there. A lot of people are scared also, like kind of to open these bigger businesses, even though I'm sure there is a lot of talent like in these, in the towns as well. So from this point on, like you have now established that okay, there is talent, and there are customers for your, and why is it that your customers are only outside India? Like what is the nature of the business that
So we run a KPO.
right?
We we have access to, um, the reason why we focus on international customers. One reason is that in Burhanpur, if you target a customer in Bombay, the first thing what they say is, why don't you come and meet us here in Bombay? It's not practical for me to go to meet every customer. But if a customer is
Okay.
in London or US, they would never ask you to come and meet.
Yeah, yeah.
They're happy with transferring money over the internet. So India is a low trust society.
Right.
The moment they would want to work with you, the first thing they would do is, why don't you come to Bombay and meet us, meet you, we're giving you this $10,000 contract. And I've had customers who pay me $20,000 also. They've never asked me to meet face to face. They are very happy with a Zoom call like this, and an NDA and an
Right.
SLA, which is Mm, and which is all that they ask for, and then they transfer the money over the internet, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I've never thought of this way, nor I ever have I heard anybody say, that the reason I target, and yeah, it makes sense because unless you're doing something that is, like a fast-moving consumer good or something in India that you're just trading around, like I think a lot of these niche work has to, be with the abroad clients, I suppose. Then, yeah, so. I mean, so when did now okay, all right. So your clients are sorted. You have a team ready. So you started off with how many people in the company? Like you would,
So I started myself as when I back in 2013 I was the only person in the company. Then when I started getting more work, I hired another person, and then I hired another person. That is how I built the company. I have
right,
put out of pocket ₹0 in the business, which
right,
generates almost $1 million every year in revenue. We have been profitable from day one, and
nice.
we I have been able to build this business in Burhanpur, uh, with international customers. And the reason why I was asking government to support smaller businesses like me is, because we are supporting the local economy. There are no jobs here, and that is why this whole thing, maybe a lot of people resonated because they could see the actual story, that I mean, there's nothing that I lied about in that tweet, and that is why it resonated with so many people, that the I'm just expecting the bare minimum for a business to be able to run.
So your first question in that tweet was basically, are you providing us enough resources to innovate, right? So we don't have 24 bar 7 electricity in our town, which is true. And this time I forgot to tell you, but before every podcast, I actually tell a few people that, hey, the power might go at any time. Don't freak out, we'll be back on air. It's so strange because the power cut is so sudden that even some of these inverters, they drop for and that although it doesn't happen always, it does happen. Yeah, so well, I mean, what could you give some specifics on what we went through, like what was the issue with the electricity, where you were having to do a new connection, what was the deal
So
there?
we built a new office couple of months ago, maybe 2 months ago, 1.5 months ago. We completed that office. We moved in this new office that I'm sitting in,
Wow.
uh, and we wanted to get a three-phase power connection. And the power electricity guy made us run around couple of weeks, and he would still not issue us the connection. And the moment I tweeted to Piyush Goyal saying that, you talk about competing with China and AI, and here, the largest employer of a town, I am not able to get electricity connection installed in our office. And it's not that I did not meet the guy. I have met the electricity person personally. I asked him that, could you please expedite, could you help us here, we are trying to run a business. Nothing, I mean,
Right.
as if it doesn't matter to him. And it's true with any department, any government agency that you would deal with. It is, PF, the mathematics is so complex, and it's so cumbersome to file PF every month. A lot of our staff does not want us to uh, deduct money and pay to PF organization, and then they would take it back whenever they need it. They just want the cash. But the problem is that the government expects us to do it. It should be an opt-in thing. Whoever wants PF ESIC should be able to get PF ESIC. Whoever does not want PF ESIC should not have to compulsorily get PF ESIC. The math is so cumbersome. Even as a business, we have one compliance guy full time, and this is the case with every business above 50 people.
Yeah,
You have to
it
have one
adds to the
compliance guy.
CTC overheads and everything, and the time that is taken. Like everybody's, like a huge chunk of time is taken for this, right? Like just conferring things and oh god, yeah. So I think 25 more. If you have more than 25 employees, is when you kind of have to
20,
go
I
for
think 20, I
20.
believe,
Now
is for
they okay.
PF. 20 I believe is
Okay.
for PF, and
Right.
it's a waste, it's a hassle, it's a
Right.
difficult, and they have made it such that you will not be able to do it successfully, um, regardless of how hard you try. There's going to be something that you would do wrong, and then they're going to come after you saying that, hey, this is what you have done wrong. And this is exactly what happened to me back in 2016. um, we got a challan from PF saying that our calculations for 2018 were wrong,
Oh, okay,
and
okay, okay, okay.
that is for a company that I've shut down. We had a proprietary company, and then we moved to a private limited in 2020, and we got a challan for the proprietary company in 2023. The company has been shut down in 2021, by the way, saying that our 2018 calculations were wrong. And I told the guy, and he's an arrogant guy. And I told the guy that, why didn't you inform me in 2019? I could have just paid the fine then if my calculations were wrong. And you should have, your job is to inform us when our calculations are wrong. And that arrogant guy tells me, I know that you have another company running, and I'm gonna send you a challan there. I'll see what you don't know who I am. And is this how you talk to an honest business owner? It's your mistake. And the guy tells me, I asked him that why didn't you send me earlier? So he tells me that the PF office was in Indore before, now it has shifted to Khandwa. Again, it's not my problem that you did not have my file. The company has been struck off. Why do I have to pay that challan? But I had to. I mean, there's nothing much I could do about it. And all that frustration over the years of running. I mean, you try getting a GST number or shutting down a GST number, same hassle, same difficulties. And that is why I also suggested a solution. Anoopji, I don't know if you noticed, did you see my yesterday's tweet that went viral?
The one with can you tell me that tweet?
I
Yesterday's one, huh?
yesterday I tweeted saying that, if the government wants to get some help in trying to find out why businesses are failing or why businesses are having so much
Yeah,
trouble,
yeah.
the government should set
They
up
you
dummy
need to
companies.
dummy companies too. Yeah, I saw that
and
tweet. Yeah.
and I have already in less than 24 hours, 1,000 people have retweeted, 500 responses. People saying exactly this is what the government needs to do. They should know the problem a small business is facing.
You think they
Currently,
don't know? Is that what
I'm
is
sure.
going on?
I'm sure they know, but find the guy who's corrupt
I
and
don't think
sack him.
anybody is admitting it. I think that is like, that is the thing. And see, in any case, anyone who talks about it, like these days being open about it, it's almost like, you're not probably not safe, right? It's so crazy. Like what kind of warped world are we in right now where we are not safe when we are trying to make suggestions for the country to be better, right? That's in essence what entrepreneurs are trying to do. Entrepreneurs like you, you're giving actual feedback, which if the country is also working as a company, they should take it seriously, solve the problem. Let's say you had a corruption issue. I remember a company that had a corruption issue with a foreman who, while executing the project, he was taking money from, this is a private company's foreman who is taking money from the contractors, from the laborers, saying that you give me this much money, otherwise I will give you a bad report and get you chucked off, the labor force or something like that. So it is like when that comes to the attention of the management, you immediately react. You're on the case. People are heads roll, people are removed. The situation is rectified. So in this case, there is nobody. There is who do you go and complain? Like, did you find out like, okay, if these things are happening to you, is there a place where like something can be done, or are we stuck with this particular Babu making his demands? Like, how does that work?
So a lot of people message me saying that, why are you fighting with the government? You have a business running. Why don't you just mind it and run? You're leading a good life. And these are people who well wishers of Biz Prospects and myself. I told them that somebody has to raise this voice. Somebody has to tell the government that, hey man, enough is enough. And And I even wrote in my tweet, I don't know if you remember this or not, that if I get hassled, if somebody hassles me, if somebody gives me nightmares, I'm gonna shut this company down. I
Yeah.
am not running this company for myself. Even if this company does not exist tomorrow, I will still have AC in my house. I'll have a nice car. I'll have food on the table. I'll have air conditioning in my house. I'll have everything that I have today. Nothing will change for me, but it will change for the people who work with this business directly and indirectly. People have EMIs to pay. People have home loans to pay, and that is why. And a lot of people commented saying that you are a capitalist. Why are you saying all this? See, I might be running a for-profit business, but my intents are not only profits. My intents are to help the society in Burhanpur. You know, we had zero IT jobs in Burhanpur back in 2016. Now we have 300 at least that I know of, which is a good number. You know, from zero to
Yeah.
300 in 8 years, it's okay. I'm
I
happy.
mean, okay, even if you had like 20 people or something like that, at the end of the day, there is no telling what the future is going, like that Rolling Stone, there is no telling. So people discounting a company just like that, based on whatever it is the prejudices are right now. Why are we talking about it? We are talking about it because we make a mistake, our clients are going to come after us if we make a mistake in our work. So who's holding these things accountable, right? The regulators accountable for delays in the business that is costing the business money and things like that. It is not a capitalistic thought, I feel, at all. It is never a capitalistic thought. It is, in fact, if it is happening to you, it's probably happening to, I think, millions of people in India, right? I mean, like, I think the numbers is going to run into millions
Easily.
because easily, and I'm sure even I know a lot of people who have just closed their shop saying the exact same thing. Hey, I have what I need. I don't need to put up with this, kind of a life anymore. And a lot of entrepreneurs are sadly getting bogged down. So, I mean, like another thing is GST as well. Like our taxations actually making things worse for businesses in your rural place, or how is it in the Thai 3 cities?
So one problem that we have been facing as a small business in a tier 3 city is that there are no departments here. So for everything that you have to do, the Babu tells you come to Khandwa, which is a 60-kilometer drive one way. 60
Right.
kilometers one way. I am trying to grow this city. I'm trying to help people here. Why should I be the one traveling to a major city just because you want me to meet face to face for whatever reasons you want to meet me face to face? You should, the government should set up pilot offices here, and the officer should come here once a month, maybe spend 3 days here. You know, there are 500, 300, 500 small businesses in Burhanpur. You are
Here's my
expecting these
argument.
people.
Here's my argument to that. Why should the government be involved in any case? What are you doing? You're doing some software related business, doing some digital related business. What could they possibly need from you other than the transaction costs or whatever it is, the receipts, right? I mean, why do you even have to go to convert for what? To report for
I'll
what? To
I'll tell you. So we got a PF notice in 2013. The guy expected me to come to Khandwa. Okay, you come and meet me face to face, because and there is a system of Zoom calls between officers and companies, but they don't prefer those because you know they want to meet you face to face for whatever reasons. I don't want to name those. Same thing happened with us when we were shutting down our previous company in 2021. The GST officer is like, you come here, you meet me face to face. Why should I come 70 kilometers away when there's second corona wave ongoing, just because you want to meet me face to face? He kept rejecting our GST closure application, saying paperwork not correct. Although our paperwork were correct, and then because I could use some influence, we got the GST number shut without me having to go to Khandwa. But and small business, there's nothing that he could do about it, and he'll have to travel to Khandwa. And there are multiple reasons why a small business needs to meet officers. It could be PF, ESIC, GST, professional tax. income tax office is not here, then you have to go to Indore or Bhopal for income tax. If you get an income tax notice and you want to meet somebody, then you have to travel again, and this time it's either Bhopal or Indore, which is further away, and it's a waste of a day, but there's nothing that you and I could do about it. It's a
So
waste.
invariably, any small businesses, most small business SMEs or MSMEs are going to have to go through something similar, right? Like they'll have to, and the income tax notices will start probably coming in when you're making money, I suppose, right? That is when you'll get these sly notices asking for different things, and a lot of the time, the people actually haven't done anything wrong. Maybe at the worst, maybe when there were multiple invoices, maybe one invoice got like chucked somewhere or something like that. But uh, yeah, so what else do you think can be improved for if an entrepreneur needs to be successful? Okay, so let's say we started off with infrastructure related issues, right? Or electricity bill, or maybe even the construction of your getting your construction plan approved for building or something like that. All these things involve a lot of red tape which you have to go through. And okay, so somehow, let's say we are able to remove a lot of those aspects where you need to really fight so hard to get a connection. If you get a connection, at the end of the day, if the way I see it is, if you get a connection, your property is approved, you're getting a connection, and you're getting a meter right along with it. After that, you're using it for the purpose that you have mentioned, residential or commercial. There really shouldn't be a problem in that. So we can almost remove the red tape completely, as long as just basic conditions are met, I suppose.
So
And
one
then, yeah.
one suggestion, Anoopji, I had, Piyush Goyal ji tweeted saying after my video went viral that we are setting up a helpline, and we'll, regardless of where you are, you could call this helpline and we'll help you. We'll make policy changes also. So one policy change I believe that we require is, electricity is a big issue in every part of the country, and currently in one premises, one business can only have one electric connection from one pole. You are aware of this, right?
Right.
So my suggestion is, why don't you give me electricity connection from area A and area B both, and if area A shuts down for maintenance or whatever reasons, I could at least switch my team and my electricity to area B. Give me multiple, allow me to have multiple electric connections. See, electricity is a big headache, right? And there are unscheduled power cuts. So if there's an unscheduled power cut in area A, I could transfer all my load to area B. And currently the law, there is no law that allows me to have two electric connections with the same bill number for one premises, for one premise.
Yeah,
So
like a
give me,
wheeling
exactly,
law, like,
exactly.
and you have
Allow,
wheeling
allow,
charges also, maybe that's okay. But yeah,
allow me to, I am happy to pay extra. I can see, a lot of people suggested me that you should get a generator, you should put solar. These
yeah,
are not solutions. I mean,
yeah.
I have three offices in India, two in Burhanpur, one in Nagpur, and I've been running a business for 12 years successfully. Putting a generator or putting a solar rooftop is not the solution. I mean, we collectively we have about 75 kilowatt hour of consumption. We cannot put a 75 kilowatt hour solar on a rooftop and have enough batteries. The batteries would cost me about 50 lakh rupees.
I
Why
mean,
should I
yeah,
pay?
exactly. So at the end of the day, the solution is there. I mean, there are solutions even to huge scales. But like you said, it's going to first of all work out as an investment.
It's not
Of course,
cost,
you'll yeah.
unit
Uh,
cost economic does not make
It
sense.
does not make sense. Now a startup's entire entry into the bootstrap field is now up by another 30-35% just because you have to add another. When there are easier solutions around, like you said, we can wheel from various vendors, have privatify also, no, who knows, let them have a solar farm somewhere and supply us with
Electricity.
uninterrupted current. Yes, So even that is possible. Now we have to wait for the government to do all of that. Imagine by now if we had just opened up the electricity private sector, there would have been, I think, private nuclear guys, there would have been private solar guys. We, like you said, we don't have to sit and worry about having a solar energy plant in our house and maintaining it and do all of that. Get somebody else to do it, wheel it in. Okay, so this doesn't work, like you said. Actually, that's a good idea, which I also never really thought of, where you can change your grids, right? It is like it's another level of safety as well. So during times when there is even flood in an area and stuff like that, you can actually wheel power from elsewhere. So
And it's
yeah,
I mean, my father is an electrician. It's a very simple thing in our part, at our part to do in
right.
our office, that we could switch from one connection to another. The problem is the government does not have load. I mean, I understand that the government does not have enough load to cover the whole traffic that will move from area A if area is shut down to area B. But then that's not my problem, right? My problem is to run this business,
Yes.
providing since you are running a
Yeah. Your
monopoly
job is to
business,
give uninterrupted power
electricity.
supply. That
I
is
mean,
that
or
is it.
otherwise
Yeah.
allow private players to come and supply electricity. If you are not able to do it, why are you not allowing private players to come and set up shop? Allow them to provide electricity. Adani is doing a good job. Reliance Electricity is there. Tata Electricity is there. I'm sure once you open this, there will be
Open
companies
this
will
out
come
to
to Burhanpur.
like more players. Open this out to startups. Who knows, in the in the energy sector, if you open this out to startups, imagine the kind of solutions that are going to be there to solve the power crisis, right? Why does one entity have to shoulder this entire burden on their own? Like there are energy is changing very rapidly. Like right now we are talking about EVs and batteries, but it is moving towards power sources, where you don't need to charge ever. So we are moving so fast, and I feel like our electricity, and we still have to wait for power cuts. Is it worse in tier 3 cities by any chance, the power cuts? Yeah, right, it is.
So today, so day before yesterday, I tweeted that no power supply for half hour. Then yesterday there was a power cut for 1 hour. Today
Okay.
also it rained a little bit. It rained like for 10 minutes. There's no power for
Yeah.
45 minutes. Now as a small business, and I'm sorry to say this, I run a bootstrap tight ship. Okay, so I cannot afford to have hour-long power cuts every day. So what I have to do is I'll have to ask my staff that, hey man, we have had three 1 hour power cuts, and I am sorry to do this to you, but you'll have to work till 7 p.m., till 8 p.m. to cover, because we have a deadline to meet. We have to deliver stuff to our customer, and that is why he's paying us money. He's paying us money on time. We will have to deliver stuff on time. So if there's a power cut for 1 hour, everybody has to work an extra hour. Although I don't like to do it, but I don't have a choice.
Yeah, imagine trying to explain to a client abroad that there is no power.
I've had to do this multiple times. I mean, we have
Really?
had. So
Oh,
they think that since you have an IT company, you should have had all these things solved. But it's unfortunate, when the power goes, we jump on from our phone, and we put our phone in front of our computer, and then we start continuing with the call. But it's not an ideal situation. It's not a perfect solution.
it is not, because sometime for I think it would have been years since their power went out, and
Yeah.
here every few hours it just keeps going. That yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I as a business, I have never taken any government loans, any government grants, nothing. We are bootstrapped, no debt, no outside capital company. I'm just asking the government to provide us uninterrupted electricity, make GST, PF, ESIC filing simple and easy. Even if a GST official would try to pay GST, he would do some or the other error, because it's so complicated.
Right.
Same goes with PF. Um, Giving money to the PF is difficult, like paying the challan on behalf of our employees is difficult, and on the employee part, it is difficult to get the money back. They find some or the other way to hold your money. I suggested yesterday that, reverse engineer this whole thing. Set up like five different companies in five different fields in 10 different states in India, and the government has the money to do it. It's not like they cannot do it. It's just they need to have that intent that okay, we are going to reverse engineer this, we're going to put 5 companies in 5 different industries in 10 different states and try and set up a business and run that business frugally for 3 years without of course letting the official know that you are running this as an experiment on behalf of the government. And
Right.
that is when you would know कि यार where is a small business facing challenges, I've I've never heard of. My ex-boss lives in China now, and he keeps telling me about how easy it is to run businesses there.
This was the same mentality by the Chinese when they came here even 15, 20 years ago when I had also met them. I had gone to China as well. So they looked at, they look at the way we try to do investment in this country and they are laughing like, like it is so hard to generate any kind of investment to quickly move, right? And so those guys, and they are not like the richest people in China or whatever. They are considered somewhere, like maybe little below average guys. Then they were saying that, so this is like almost not a new thing. Like they have always believed that we have way more potential than than we are trying to implement in India. Crazy, yeah. So sorry, continuing on with your statement, please. I
No, no. So
interjected.
I am suggesting that build something like Doge in India, about what the US is trying to do.
Yeah.
Remove bottlenecks, remove corruption, and India will definitely flourish. We have a young generation, a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs coming out of smaller towns, moving to Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore to learn and grow. If you give them a good platform, I'm sure good companies will start coming out of India too. I mean, the reason why we see a lot of immigration happening from India to come cities like Dubai, New York, SFO is because talent is not
Yeah.
welcomed here. We as an entrepreneur, we are faced with so many challenges. After a while, the guy is like, "Yeah, why do I have to put so much effort?
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
work
leave."
so hard when you study, right? You're studying through your life, you work so hard, you get to the top of your class. And then when you start a business and you don't get that same respect. Like, why did you study so hard? Why did you get top of your class? To be treated like jack shit by, literally anybody, they'll just treat you like you could. It's amazing that you have to people please to a level that is groveling basically. Like you cannot stand like this in front of a government. You have to go like this in front of a government official, do your hands, and it is crazy. Like who will opt for that? You would rather go abroad where,
Life is
yes,
easier.
life is yeah. You may be subject to racism here and there, but at the end of the day, that is still better than what you would probably go through here. Uh, so when you went to US, like what did you find that we could actually do here? Like what is making their business like really tick?
So
Uh,
one thing I would want to add here is life in US, China is very predictable. You know what to expect when you do a certain thing. So for example, if you want to start a company, it is going to be a smooth ride. You will have to do this, and you will have a business registered there. In India, things are so unpredictable. You don't know what's gonna come and hit you tomorrow. You um, the processes are so complicated, you don't know where you would make a mistake, and it would come and bite you again back. Makes
have
things
any
simpler.
regulations changed? Have any regulations changed while you were running the business and suddenly some new tax law or some new law
GST
with
came in, right? GST
right?
came in 2016, so that was a completely shift in regulation. I have still never been able to completely understand, first of all, why do we pay ESIC and how is that math behind ESIC? We have private insurance for all our employees and their families. Everybody in their family is
Yeah.
insured. Why do I still have to pay ESIC? ESIC is basically throwing money to the government saying, ye rakh lo. Our staff, I mean, somebody who's making 30,000, 40,000 in Burhanpur is never going to go to the government hospital and utilize his ESIC card. All our staff is insured through Kotak. and they are very happy with that Kotak insurance that they have. Everybody in our staff gets it. Just, if we submit an acknowledgement saying that we have a third party insurance, we don't want to continue with ESIC, the government should accept it. Why
Yes.
not? Why not?
Yeah. It should be, yeah, it should be sort of self-regulated by a system or a network of insurance rather than, the government again coming in
or
to
or
do
maybe
something.
maybe when we opt in to get insurance through ESIC, we should have four options saying, okay, either do you want to get insured by the government, or do you want to get insured by Kotak, or do you want to get insured by HDFC. Even if you have to pay extra, I would happily pay extra. But
Right.
nobody uses ESIC insurance. Not people. I mean, not the people that I know of. People in white collar jobs, they wouldn't use government hospitals, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. The government hospitals are almost like in competition with actual hospitals who are doing services, right, in this industry. So, everywhere we find this kind of a competition existing, uh, it's almost like product placement and product pushing all the time. So I mean, like, so what made you like come back from the US then? I mean, like, there were a lot of things there. You came back. So what were your reasons for, sort of making the way back?
See, I was there, I set up a small business, I hired one guy also. But I realized that what I'm trying to do there, I could do it from my home. And because I mean, another reason was that I could not get my visa for work visa approved. And I didn't want it to stay as an illegal alien or whatever. Once I realized that I mean, I'm not gonna get a proper work visa. I came back. I mean, I didn't want it to stay in a country that is not welcoming me with open hands. That was the first reason. The second was that, I realized that, I could set this business up in Burhanpur and still run it successfully. Yeah. So yeah, these two
Right.
reasons.
Right, understood, understood. Yeah, yeah, but I get it. I think a lot of my friends also made their way back because somehow at the end of the day, you do miss your things, but they do crib about the same things. Hey, I wish this was there. I wish that was there, and I think, yeah. So at the end of the day, there is a lot of things that aren't spoken about, and actually, Murtaza, thank you for coming on the show and actually speaking about it. I don't know what will happen to both of us after this, but at the end of the day, we just take it in our stride. We are just trying to tell a story. We are trying to tell the true story of what's happening to every entrepreneur out here. It has happened to me as well. You're not alone. Like, all these things have happened. We see we see a lot of things. So if for the people who are going to be watching this when we put it up, so at the end of the day, if you also have stories that are similar to this, I suggest we all talk about it because we only want things to improve, right? And we want things to improve fast. We are not getting any younger, so that's the thing. We need things to improve fast and quickly because I feel like this is becoming, it has almost become too much to handle. I remember a time when, maybe bribery was in the little thousands here and there. Now it's like starting to get like a lakh for a freaking electricity connection, man. Come on, you know what I mean. Like, depending on the size of your business, you could be kind of charged anything. So things are probably reaching ridiculous levels now, levels that I don't think many people are going to put up with anymore. So, Murtaza, what are your final thoughts on what you would advise entrepreneurs who are budding in India? What should they look forward to, and do you have any words of advice?
I mean, if you're running a bootstrap business, be ready to fight. I mean, I am raising this voice not for myself, but for all the other bootstrapped and even funded entrepreneurs who are facing same challenges. Um, we have to overcome this. We cannot wait for the government to come and give us an helping hand, which has not happened till date. After my tweet went viral, a lot of people came forward from MP government, from other departments of the government, local ministry, local departments in Burhanpur, trying to help me. But I told everybody the same thing, that you are a little too late to tell me that we are here to help you. After my tweet went viral, you are helping me and getting the electricity connection solved, helping me in everything that I am asking for. This should have, somebody does not have to go viral to get basic things to run their business. I mean, this
Wow.
is somebody, I mean, anybody who applies for anything, they should be able to get it. That is how you help small businesses grow.
You're right. I mean, like that's the thing. Like you have to somehow make such a big. Why, I mean, why are they waiting for that noise when they know that the issue exists? If it exists for you, it does exist everywhere.
For
Chain the
everybody.
process. Yeah,
Yeah.
chain
Yes.
the process.
Reverse engineer the corruption in Indian, departments. Set up companies and go the other way around, and see where are the bottlenecks. It should be a very smooth process to set up and run a company, so that the entrepreneur could focus all his energies on trying to grow the business, get more sales, and instead of trying to fix regulations and make sure he doesn't end up in a jail.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So it is almost like now you're trapped between a rock and a hard place where people could say, "Oh yeah, okay, you paid so much money to get this," and that's why there is no respect also for any entrepreneur in India because they know if you are a very successful person, you are having to do all of these things to survive, which is not good for the psychology and the aspect of being an entrepreneur as well. So anyway, we have
Thank you.
reached end of our hour here at the Anup Zombie Studio. We are broadcasting live on YouTube right now. X, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a link break, so we'll be posting that the recording for our X users in a while. And thank you, man. So you sharing your story. Hopefully, it will. I'm sure on your X channel, which is Murtuzi, right? Murtuzi.
That I.
So I'm sure you will continue. I feel to raise awareness on easing the way businesses not only started, formed, but run and continued, and growth is accelerated as well for a lot of the tier 3 cities that obviously have talent, which is leaving to other places because they don't have entrepreneurs who are willing to take the risk and go through this whole babudam universe and regulation universe and taxes universe to get things done. So we are hoping everybody will join in and start talking about reducing the complexities of all these taxes, all these regulations, so that businesses in India can flourish and third tier cities can as well bring in a lot more opportunities to the local people there, and other people in other places may want to go come in there, right? I mean, like you said, like people are willing to travel 20 kilometers. Soon they will come from 100 kilometers away. Soon they will come from 500 kilometers away. You never know. So it is about you can never take the individuality out of an individual. So if that's a person from a specific locality, the experiences are different, and I think the solutions that will come out are always going to be very unique. The style in which they are delivered will be unique. So thank you, Murtaza. Thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you for having me.
And it was great talking to you. Hopefully, there will be some progress as time goes on, and we can come back on the chat again, and we can see, okay, if anything has been done, or if we need to talk about it a little more and raise some awareness. So, hopefully you can come back in at some point.
Yes, thank you
So.
again for having me, and I hope to see some good responses to this, and I'll try and respond to all of your comments. Thank you.
Sure, sure. So we'll be putting it up on X soon, but it's running on YouTube right
YouTube.
now, and yeah. So we shall, yeah. So we'll put up some bites also, so that we can, try to put the feelers out there. All
All
right,
right, man.
all right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you,
Thanks.
Mutesa. All right. Good night.